Welcome to Lost Wilderness. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe. New scary stories are posted regularly, and let me know in the comments where you're listening from, whether you're driving, working, or alone at night. Now, let's begin. My brother Aaron and I had been hunting that stretch of wilderness for years. It sat about 2 hours past the last real town, beyond a series of logging roads that twisted deep into the mountains. Once you left the gravel highway and took the dirt road past the old bridge, the forest seemed to swallow everything behind you. No cell service, no houses, no people, just miles of pine and silence. We liked it that way. That morning, we parked the truck at the end of the road and started hiking in before sunrise. The air was cold enough that our breath hung in front of us as we walked, and the forest floor was damp from rain the night before. Aaron carried his rifle over his shoulder. I had mine strapped to my pack while we hiked. Neither of us talked much. When you spend enough time in the woods, you get used to the quiet. Around mid-morning, we reached a clearing we'd hunted before, a long stretch of open ground surrounded by tall trees. Deer moved through there sometimes, especially near the small creek running along the far edge. We set up along the tree line and waited. Hours passed. Nothing. Around early afternoon, Aaron stood up and stretched. "Let's move down toward the creek," he said quietly. We packed up and started walking again. That's when we noticed the tracks. Boot prints. Fresh. They crossed the trail we were following and disappeared into the trees ahead of us. Aaron crouched down beside them. "These weren't here this morning," he said. The tracks were deep in the mud. Heavy. Someone had passed through recently. We both looked around instinctively. The forest stood completely still. No movement, no voices, nothing. I shrugged. Probably another hunter. Aaron didn't answer. He kept staring at the tracks. Then he said something that made the back of my neck tighten. "These are heading the same direction we are." We kept walking, but slower now. The tracks appeared again every few yards, pressed clearly into the damp ground. And then we found more. Another set of boots, then a third. Aaron stopped. "3 people," he said quietly. That wasn't unusual by itself. Hunting groups came through the mountains sometimes, but something about the direction bothered me. The tracks weren't heading deeper into the wilderness. They were circling, crisscrossing the area. Almost like whoever made them had been moving around the same stretch of woods for a while. Watching. Aaron stood up and scanned the trees. "You hear anything?" he asked. I listened. At first, nothing. Then, a branch snapped somewhere in the distance. Not close, but not far either. Both of us turned toward the sound. The forest looked exactly the same in every direction. Tall pines. Shadows between trunks. No movement. Aaron quietly unslung his rifle from his shoulder. "Probably just another hunter," I said. But even as I said it, I didn't believe it, because hunters don't usually move like that. Hunters make noise. They talk. They move through the woods in a straight direction. These tracks had been circling, waiting. We started heading back toward the truck, not running, just walking. But about 15 minutes later, we heard it again. Another branch snapping, closer this time. Aaron stopped. "So did they," he said. I looked behind us. The forest was empty, but the feeling of being watched suddenly felt very real. We were about a mile from the truck when we saw the first one. A man stepped between 2 trees behind us, maybe 50 yards away. He froze when he realized we had turned around. He was wearing dark clothes. No hunting orange, no rifle, just standing there. Aaron raised his rifle slightly. The man didn't say anything. He just stared at us. Then another man appeared farther to the left, and a third behind him. My stomach dropped. Aaron spoke quietly. "Get ready to move." The 3 men began walking toward us. Not fast, not slow, just steady. None of them spoke. None of them waved. They didn't look like hunters. They didn't look lost. They looked like they knew exactly where we were going. Aaron leaned closer to me. "Truck's a mile out," he whispered. The men started spreading out, trying to close the distance from different angles. That's when Aaron said the words that made my pulse explode. "They're trying to cut us off." We turned and ran. Branches whipped past us as we sprinted through the trees, the ground uneven beneath our boots. Behind us, I heard shouting. Then footsteps. Fast. More than 3. My lungs burned as we pushed through the forest toward the road. Aaron glanced back once, and when he did, I saw his face change. "Keep running," he said. "What? They're gaining." We broke through a line of trees and saw the logging road ahead. The truck was somewhere beyond it. But when we hit the dirt road and turned toward the truck, we stopped, because another man was standing beside it, leaning against the driver's door, waiting. And as the footsteps behind us got closer, he slowly stood up. The story doesn't end here. Part 2 is coming soon. Thank you for spending your time with Lost Wilderness. If you enjoy slow, immersive horror stories, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Wherever you're listening from, have a safe night.